Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, breath, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
I didn't breathe enough again.
Oh.
You need to prompt me before we start. Make sure you breathe.
Make sure you breathe.
Thank you. What have you been up to? Breathing.
I synced some captions and that was about it.
A time-consuming job. Yes. So you got the caption file, did you?
I got the 16 separate caption files, and then each of the segments needed lining up.
Yep.
So
yep.
The bit before the intro, the bit between the intro and the stinger.
Yep. So this was for your collaborative...
For Battle for BFDI, the show that I was on, but am now on a different show in the same series, which is running at the same time as Battle for BFDI, which is now Battle for BFB and is ending at some point this month.
Right. That's ending sometime this month, but the spin-off... Isn't. And it's the spin-off that you're on.
Yes.
So you've managed to jump trains before the other train hurtles off a ravine.
Well, I jumped trains when the split happened.
Right.
The split.
Okay. Good.
And Spaceballs is back on. We're in the mid-season now, which comes after the Earl season and the Earl siesta, which are new concepts.
Good. Excellent.
And the seasonal raising happened, and some players got buffs or debuffs.
Right. Buffs. They're the things they wear on Survivor to identify what team you're on.
No, different kind of buff.
Oh. It's when they have a sanding disc placed on their legs to remove the hair off their legs.
No, different kind of buff.
Oh. Okay. Good. How many of our dear listener have we lost already? Should we get on with things?
Oh, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Oh, look, this and that. Procrastinating mainly. It's been a bit of a weird week. There have been things going on in Australian politics that have been a bit depressing and distracting and unpleasant and yeah.
Well, there's been one thing going on in Australian politics the whole week that has been very distracting.
Yes, and it will continue to go on.
Yes.
Yes. So, yes, I really haven't been up to a lot of things. I donated blood again this week. Well, plasma. So they've just about got enough now to make a large flat screen television.
Mm-hmm.
And yes.
If plasma TVs were still the in thing.
That's right. Which they sadly are not. Okay. We've lost all of our dear listeners. So now that we've lost them, we can talk about what are we watching this week?
We are watching Spaceballs.
Okay, so it's a Mel Brooks film
made
in 19...
Copyright on the back of here is saying 1987, but I can look it up to confirm that it is from 1987.
Okay, 1987. That explains why it really wasn't on my radar. Because 87 was a weird year for me. But I did see it, but on VHS. I have seen it once. And when I saw that, I don't know. And I don't remember lots of it. And there are reasons for that we'll probably go into later. But before that, would you be so kind as to, now that you have the plot synopsis, such as it is, in front of you, I should ask, have you experienced any Mel Brooks films before?
That's a good question.
It is a very good question, which is why I asked it.
I'm going to have to pull up a filmography.
You are?
I've seen Blazing Saddles.
Okay, that was the one that I was going to guess is probably most likely.
And that's all that I've seen that he's directed.
Okay.
He was in the Muppet movie.
He was. Serembrectomy.
He was in Robots as Big Weld.
Good.
He was a consultant on Get Smart.
Yes.
Not a character, like an actual consultant.
Yes. Yeah. He was a writer on it as well, wasn't he?
That might be under.
Didn't he create it? Isn't it a Mel Brooks creation? Or am I making that up?
You're probably making that up.
Do I have to edit that out as well?
Oh, no. Based on Mel Brooks and Buck Henry's television series of the same name.
Thank you.
Because I was in the film section.
Okay, yes.
Because he's done enough things that you can split it up into film, television, and theatre.
Okay, I do occasionally get things right. Yeah, all right.
And Dracula on 2 of the 3... Vlad Dracula? Possibly a different... No? Ooh. That's...
how many versions of
Hotel
Dracula?
Transylvania 2 and 3.
Okay, right, okay.
No, a different Dracula to the other Dracula that is also in the...
Yeah.
And...
he probably played the father. Maybe.
Yes. And he's in Toy Story 4 as Maleficent Brooks. And I actually haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. I should get on that at some point.
I think I have.
Yes, I expect you would have.
Yes, I think I went to the cinema with the kids to watch that.
I think that might be all of the film work that I've seen from him. He was a voice in It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie, which is a television movie, and so is in the television section.
Yep. It's pretty bad too.
It's fine.
I think it's
I
think it's rubbish. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that might be it.
Yeah, if you've experienced Blazing Saddles, then your mindset will probably be certainly such that this won't come as too much of a shock to you. Spoilers. So, yes. So, would you please...
Yes.
Again, back to the plot such as it is, or the synopsis.
The farce is with you in this hilarious space oddity from comic genius Mel Brooks that will send you into hyperspace with fits of laughter. Lampooning everything from Star Wars and Alien to Star Trek and Planet of the Apes, this uproarious salute to science fiction is this is reviews. I'm just reading reviews now. The fearless and clueless Lone Star and his half-man, half-dog sidekick Barf race against time to free Princess Vespa from the evil clutches of Dark Helmet. Along the way, they confront gooey gangster Pizza the Hut, sassy robot Dot Matrix, and wise little imp Yogurt, who teaches them the mystical power of the Schwartz in order to bring peace and merchandising rights to the entire galaxy.
Right, do we have to watch it now?
That is the premise.
Yes. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what your reaction to it is, and I believe Morgan's going to join us as well. Thomas is going to take it out of its case. I'm going to actually find a sound effect of a case opening from one of the previous episodes. He's going to put it into the machine. We're going to watch it and come back and tell you what we think on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
You mongrel. So, what did you think?
Okay, let's start with some context here. I bought 4 DVDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strangelove,
Yes.
on Blu-ray, cost $17.49.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks from now, we'll be watching a film on DVD that cost $13.99.
Mm-hmm.
Knives Out, Blu-ray,
Yes.
cost $11.19.
Yes.
This DVD cost $4.89, and I'm okay with that.
It was worth every cent.
Yeah, there are some very good jokes in this movie, but that does not make this a funny movie. On the whole, there's some bits that could very much be better.
Yes. It very much goes with the genre and with the territory and with the director. Very much a case of a roundtable discussion of just throw ideas at me and see what sticks. And a lot of it didn't. But it seemed like a good idea at the time. But there are some absolute gems that make up for it. I really, really didn't want to like this movie. And yet there were so many things that popped up that redeemed it enough to make it worth around the $5 mark. And I'm very jaded by the parody style of film, so it was behind the 8 ball to begin with, and they still keep making the types of things that because there are still 12, 13, 14-year-old boys. I know that sounds sexist, but who will just absolutely gobble this kind of stuff up. And at various different levels. So, yeah, I don't know whether I think I missed the being the audience for this. I was a little too old. But that being said, there are, as I said, there's so many different ones that came out around the same in the 70s and 80s especially, but they still do it. You know, you've got the scary movies and the they all seem to get the reviews that they deserve. If it wasn't for this joke, and this joke, I would have left type of feeling. But those were enough to keep me going.
The thing is, though, I don't think I'm going to watch it again.
No.
Because if I do watch any part of it, it will be clips on YouTube of the jokes that I enjoyed.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It's got about 5 minutes of value.
Yeah.
In amongst that, thankfully, a short film.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hour and a half. It scrapes in under, I think.
There's a certain time frame that is very good for this podcast, and that's when the people who go away while we're recording and watching the film come back as the credits are rolling.
Right, yes.
But That's the perfect length of a film for this show.
Yes, indeed. I do have to say, they must have spent a fortune on the visual and special effects.
The special visual effects.
The special visual, the Apogee company that it was a major labour of love as far as that was concerned. I get the feeling that they first thought, oh, this is silly, and they said, no, we're going to take this absolutely seriously and make it look terrific. And so everything else around those effects shots sort of felt weak. Even though a number of the ships were totally ridiculous, they still were made to look like they were flying off into the distance. Those far distant flight shots were just superb, and the swinging around and landing shots, marvellous. And the money shot right at the beginning.
There's a lot of greebling on Spaceball 1 for what is essentially a one-off visual gag, and it's too long.
Yes. And that is the money shot. If I left after that, I would have been satisfied. Because that is such a superb model. Absolute hours of work were put into that, and it just works.
The shot works, but it's too long to be a good joke.
Oh, look, you've got to err on the side of make it too long rather than too short, I think.
There's 3 levels of too long you can get to. 4 actually. There's too long and funny.
Yep.
Too long and not funny.
Right. Too
long and funny again, and too long and not funny. It's in that second one where it's too long and not funny for me.
Oh, well, I found it ludicrously funny.
Yeah, okay. It comes down to taste.
It does.
It's entirely subjective.
It does. The innuendo in it that and the groin shots and you've got to lower yourself to the level, don't you? And otherwise, you will not enjoy this at all. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know.
I think I might just not be that low.
No, and see, this is what surprises me. I knew that's what we were going to be in for, and so I was very ready to absolutely loathe this. But there still was enough cleverness to redeem it from all the really not very clever and not very smart and really did you have to go there type of feeling. But still also like the toilet paper. Okay, I shouldn't have laughed at that with the mindset that I had going into this. But I did snicker.
Everything being Spaceballs merchandise is a funny joke.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how many times they do it. There's enough space between it coming back.
Exactly. All controlled by a New York Jewish Yoda.
Yes.
And I should point out that Mel Brooks wears his Jewishness well and truly on his sleeve and does through all of his movies and well and truly gets away with it.
He is very willing to take the mickey out of himself.
Absolutely. Yes, so I enjoyed it more than I should have. Nowhere near as much as I would have liked. Yeah, like you, I have no. I'm glad that I've watched it again because, boy, it really didn't make much of an impression on me the very first time I saw it. All I could remember, and it may well have been me not having actually seen the film. I am very, very familiar with that opening shot with the spaceship. The long shot, but everything else was completely alien to me. Kaboom tish. So yeah, so maybe I haven't seen it, but now I have. I can say I've definitely seen Spaceballs, and yeah, no eagerness to let's watch Spaceballs again type of feeling. It has aged poorly, and I don't. I say that, and yet I think
you look
it
it up on
is.
Wikipedia, and it says it's a cult classic. So
Yeah.
we are not that cult.
No, and perhaps it's a bit of the Emperor's New Clothes type of. You've got to love this film. Well, no, I don't think it's that cult classic. I should point out now, I can't remember what film it was. Was it Failsafe that Dom DeLuise appeared in?
Oh, yeah, he was either that or Doctor Strangelove.
Yes.
Failsafe.
It was
Failsafe.
Failsafe, that's what I thought. Well, he played the voice of, or in fact, I think he was made up to as Pizza the Hut, and did the voice. I think he was underneath it all as well. Gee, that was a good costume too.
Oh, I don't know. It's certainly evocative.
Yes, absolutely. A bit falling into the mouth. And anyway, do you have anything else to say about Spaceballs?
No, I think I'm done.
Yeah. It is of its time. And speaking of time, let's move it on a bit.
The following segment is probably really boring.
We wind things back
Okay.
quite some ways to back when we were doing a different podcast entirely. Episode for Allegiant in Still Under Wraps.
Right.
I assume we asked a question about fruit. And just now, a friend of mine, Dunkel, has replied to the tweet for that episode saying watermelon.
Right.
So
Good. Excellent.
Some good.
Thank you.
Good interaction there.
Sorry, what was our dear listener's name?
Dunkel.
Dunkel, who sounds like is on catch-up.
Yes, she is.
Oh, sorry.
She is
She.
very much on catch-up.
Sorry. Dunkel is not a name that I'm particularly familiar with, so I do apologise if I get genders mixed up.
She's very much from my corner of the internet.
Yes, the dark web. Okay, the Paisley web. There we go.
But apart from that, I'm not sure that we had
any interaction. No. Much like this episode, we lose our listeners, dear listeners, very quickly.
Congratulations on our anniversary from Helen.
Yeah. Thank you, Helen.
A mention of Moonrise Kingdom from Lee. And it's on our lists, but not just yet.
Not just yet. Well, it might.
It might.
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows? Because it is my turn to pick what we're going to watch. But that's in the next segment.
It is.
Let's move over there now.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
it's my turn to pick, and I am going to throw caution to the wind and trust the shaking of the database. I have a list of films that are on the shelf that I would like to revisit, whether Thomas has seen them or not. And there's a definite mix of things that he has and things that he hasn't. So, let's have a look. How many is there? 63 to flick through. So they're up on my phone right now. I'm going to give my phone a shake, which will randomly select using the My Movies app. Have I shooken it enough?
I think it has been shaken.
Okay. Oh, I've shaken all of the movies out of it.
Yeah,
right.
You overdid it.
I did. Okay, let's try that again.
Once should do it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to see if Thomas can guess what it is by starting to read the description. All right?
Okay.
Okay. It is traditional for all young witches to leave their families on the night of
Buzz.
Yes?
Is this the Studio Ghibli film Kiki's Delivery Service?
It is indeed. It is indeed. So I shall complete the plot synopsis. My goodness, it's long. Okay. It is traditional for all young witches to leave their families on the night of a full moon to learn their craft. That night comes for Kiki, who follows her dream and embarks on the experience of a lifetime. With her chatty black cat, Gigi, she flies off to find the perfect spot in a faraway city. There, a bakery owner befriends Kiki and helps her start her own business, a high-flying delivery service. Follow Kiki and her journeys on a world of fun-filled escapades and new friendships, including one with Tombo, a boy who dreams one day of flying. Rarely has the animator's art been so brilliantly rendered in this delightfully imaginative film that will entertain boys and girls everywhere.
Bit of editorializing from Madman at the end there, I think.
Oh dear.
But it is a good film.
It is a good film.
Yeah.
But
it's been a while.
It has been a very long while since I've seen this, which is why I popped it on the list of things that I'd like to revisit. So, some Studio Ghibli. Not our first in our podcasting history, and possibly not our last. We hope that you can join us when we watch Kiki's Delivery Service next week, but until then...
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Good night.
Is that going to become what we do? No. Good.
Absolutely not.
And until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
So Spaceballs back, right? Spaceballs back.
As my eyes glaze over.
And there's an effect that players can have,
right,
specifically batters, called Zero No, where if that
slow fade out,
if that batter has not been pitched a ball, which is to say something they couldn't reasonably be expected to hit, they can't be struck out.
Right.
Chorby Short, not very good at batting,
Oh, that's not nice to say about Trilby.
Trilby,
Trilby.
1 star out of 6.
Is he a pitcher?
No, he's a batter. He's not very good at batting.
Right.
Polka Dot Patterson, very good at pitching. So we come to this game.
Second set of eyelids glaze over.
And Trilby Short comes up to the plate, facing off against Polka Dot Patterson. 111 fouls before Polka Dot Patterson pitches a ball.
Good.
And Trilby is immediately struck out, but that's Spaceball for you.
That is Spaceball for you. Strange. Is this all played in real time?
A play happens in each game roughly every 5 seconds.
Good. So how long does a normal game last? When I say a normal game, a game that doesn't have 154 fouls or however.
Well, generally speaking, an hour has been allotted for each round of games, and this came in under the hour by a considerable margin. Usually you need to go to extra innings in order to have any chance of breaking the hour mark, but Short, at the bat, counted in terms of game events, and there was roughly 500 game events in this one game, which is rather high. Roughly 45% of game events in this one game were Trilby Short at the plate.
Right.
He was up to bat 3 times. He got up to base once.
I'm going to have to watch. Do you even watch a game?
It's
or does it all happen and then you read through it?
You watch a little box that has the bases and the count and the text box off to the side that tells you what's happening.
Okay. And so you see a little blip, and it blips around if they're running around bases, and okay.
Does
it go?
No, it doesn't make any sound at all.
Well, that doesn't sound very fun.
There's unruns, which have to do with the number 3.
Does it have layers?
No, it has...
onions have layers.
If you score an unrun, it's worth 0.3 negative runs.
Third set of eyelids glaze over.
Yes, fractional runs exist.
I'm going to hit stop.
I'm surprised you haven't already.
Hit stop. This will probably fade out well before I.
Oh yeah.
Yes.